Hi, I'm Grim and welcome back to Man vs Film. This is going to be a list of 10 movies that you can watch on Amazon Prime US for the month of January 2018. So let's get started. Number 10, Nightcrawler. When Lewis Bloom, a conman desperate for work, muscles into the world of LA crime journalism, he blurs the line between observer and participant to become the star of his own story. Nightcrawler, directed by Dan Gilroy and starring Jake Gyllenhaal, is a tremendous piece of work. It really shows the aspects of this psychopath Lewis Bloom who manages to find his niche in the world, and it's something that he can do spectacularly well because he's pretty much devoid of attachment or typical emotion. He doesn't see the world like anybody else sees it, and it's a great character study of that. More than just that, it's a terrifically entertaining movie. I think it's well worth your time. Number 9 is Bloodsport. Frank ducks an American martial arts serving in the military who decides to leave the army to compete in a martial arts tournament in Hong Kong, where he fights to the death against various opponents. I've always had a thing for Van Damme movies, even his earlier ones, which are the ones I kind of gravitate towards, and I think they're pretty fantastic. I've also got a thing for direct-to-video action movies, and this kind of encompasses a lot of things that I do like. I think Bloodsport is one of the best direct-to-video action movies of its time. It gets by with some kinetic fight sequences, not the greatest acting, but we're there for the martial arts, and what we get is varied, fun, interesting and pretty exciting, and I think Bloodsport is one of Van Damme's best movies. Number 8 is Crank 2 High Voltage. Chef Chelios survives a fall from the sky, sort of, and he wakes up with a temporary heart in place. Chef Chelios has to track down the person that stole his heart, and he only has a limited amount of time. Completely bonkers. I mean, I thought the first Crank was crazy. The second one just ramps up even more, creating more craziness on top of more craziness. It has to be seen to be believed. Hopefully you've seen the first one and you go into this going, what the heck? If you haven't and you just want to check this out, you will be blown away by the sheer mayhem that you will see on screen. Jason Statham is Chef Chelios, and this movie is just crazy. And I love it for the fact that it just goes so bonkers. Number 7 is Predestination. For his final assignment, a top temporal agent must pursue the one criminal that has eluded him throughout time. The chase turns into a unique, surprising and mind-bending exploration of love, fate, identity and time-travelling taboos. Directed by the Sprague Brothers, the guys that did Undead and the most recent Jigsaw movie, this is one of those really wacky time travel-ish movies that creates a story between an FBI agent and a young temporal agent as they try to, well, I can't really tell you. I'd love to tell you a little bit more about the movie, but unfortunately I'd waste some of the biggest elements of it. This is a movie that was constantly surprising, that looks pretty terrific and had a real sting in its tail. Some great performances, especially Ethan Hawke, who was pretty fantastic. But the rest of the cast do just as well in this tale that I just had no idea where it was going to go next, and it just kept me constantly at the edge of my seat, being surprised with each and new revelation that we saw on screen. Great flick. Number 6 is Silence. In the 17th century, 2 Portuguese Jesuit priests travelled to feudal Japan in an attempt to locate their mentor, who is rumoured to have committed apostasy. This isn't an easy watch. It's a hard movie where a person is really pushed to the limits as far as they can go without breaking, and eventually maybe breaking as well, because it's just so hard. The feudal Japan do not believe in Catholicism. They do not want it in their land, and they want to not destroy the priests but break them, to have them renounce God, to tear them asunder, and to do that they will torture them, belittle them, and it's really a show of strength for the main character. Like I said, it's a hard movie to watch, but I think it's a rewarding one. Number 5 is Total Recall. When a man goes for a virtual vacation, memories of the planet Mars, an unexpected and harrowing series of events force him to go to the planet for real. Or does he? This is Schwarzenegger's 1990 Total Recall, directed by Paul Verhoeven, and it stands up today like it did when it first came out. It is mind-bending, as in you never know what's real, what's not. It's got some great practical effects. It's got a terrific spy-centric story. And like I said, even now, so many years after seeing it, and I've seen this movie a lot, I'm still unsure whether Quaid is real, false, fake, a dream, whether the storyline actually happened or didn't. It's just bonkers. But I'd love to know your thoughts. If you have any ideas on it, let me know in the comment below. If you haven't seen the movie, you need to check this one out. It's terrifically fun. Number 4, It Comes at Night. Secure within a desolate home as an unnatural threat terrorises the world, a man has established a tenuous domestic order with his wife and son. Then a desperate young family arrive seeking refuge. Trey Edward Schultz's follow-up to Krisha was mismarketed, I believe. It was advertised as a really strong horror movie, and I don't think it is. It is a thriller with horror overtones, and I think it really gets by its character studies on human nature. You don't get a lot of things going bump in the night. You just have a lot of reactionary shots of the characters as they try to figure out what's going on and if they can trust each other. It's more of a mind game, and if you go into the movie with that kind of mindset, you'll probably find a film that you really enjoy. If, on the other hand, you're looking for that quick fix, bump in the night horror movies, this thing is not for you. But I do think it is a very well made, very good movie. Number 3, Silence of the Lambs. A young FBI cadet must receive the help of an incarcerated and manipulative cannibal killer to help catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims. Silence of the Lambs is a terrific movie. It won Oscars. It had 2 amazing performances from Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. It's a movie that you've probably seen parodied thousands of times. Hopefully you've seen it. If you have, it's well worth checking it out again because it really holds up fantastically well. It is a really energetic, really exciting, thrilling movie with some great performances. If you haven't seen it, this is one of the best movies ever made. I love Silence of the Lambs, and when I found out that it was on Netflix, I couldn't help but put it on my list, and as high up as I could. Number 2 is The Neon Demon. When an aspiring model Jessie moves to Los Angeles, her youth and vitality are devoured by a group of beauty-obsessed women who will take any means necessary to get what she has. I missed The Neon Demon in cinemas, and that is going to be something that I will always regret, because when I caught it on Netflix, I was captivated by this visually stunning movie that really spoke to me in ways that so few movies do. I don't think there's a happy outcome here, or it's a happy tale. It's all about people who are happy to take each other asunder, who don't really support each other. It's about women degrading each other rather than lifting each other up. It is, like I said, stunning to look at. It's got a fantastic score. It's got these visuals that marvel and just stand out in the movie. It's one of the best movies that I've seen recently, and one that I've got a feeling is going to stay with me a long, long while. Number 1 is Brawl in Cell Block 99. After being fired from his job, Bradley, he turns to his friend who hires him as a drug dealer. A trade goes bad and he ends up in prison. The only problem is that a gang has kidnapped his wife, and they will do an experimental operation on the baby unless Thomas kills one of the inmates in Cell Block 99. Bradley will not stop until his wife is safe again. Directed by the man who did Bone Tomahawk. Now, the movie's not as good as that, but I think it's worth checking out for a couple of reasons. It's got Vince Vaughn as the main guy, who gives a really terrific performance as a big hulking brute of a figure who takes no nonsense. And the second reason is for when it gets to the climactic end of the movie, it's got some really fun action. Now, the main guy is a kind of ex-boxer, so when it gets to the fight scenes, it's not all quick kung fu type things. It is slow build up, it is vicious punches, it is tearing people down quickly, and Bradley, played by Vince Vaughn, is terrific in the movie. I think it's one of the standout performances, and I think it's worth checking out for that and that alone. Now, this isn't a movie for everybody, but I do think it's something that you should definitely experience and definitely check out. I was left at the end of it going, did I like that? Did I not? And ultimately I did, and I do think it's worth checking out, but like I said, I'd love to know your opinion of the movie, so let me know in the comment box what you thought of it. Thanks for watching that list of top 10 movies that you can watch on Amazon Prime US for the month of January 2018. If there's anything I've missed out, let me know in the comment box below, and maybe I'll check it out, and it might make it onto my list next month. If not, somebody else watching this may see the recommendation and check it out themselves. If you haven't already done so, hit subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.